Hello and good day to everyone here today. First of all, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude towards the organizer for giving me an opportunity to present my paper. Let me introduce myself. I'm Nordin, a student of Strategic Studies and International Relations from National Defence University of Malaysia. What I'd like to present to you today is good governance and culture tolerance from the perspective of Malaysian peacekeepers. In this presentation, I would touch on the introduction of the research, literature review, research methodology, result discussion, and also the conclusions. Okay, as we all know, in order to maintain world peace, United Nations has introduced peacekeeping operation, which has been proven to be one of the most effective tools available to the UN. Peacekeeping has unique strengths, including legitimacy, burden sharing, and an ability to deploy and sustain troops and police from around the globe. Peacekeeping operations involve many cultural dimensions, particularly when missions comprise multinational force and foreigners are introduced to the local population. The lack of cultural knowledge can be substantially disruptive and contribute to the failure of a mission. Culture comes into play at many levels and it could influence the nature of missions' aim, mandates, and decision-making process. It is important for peacekeepers to have a good relationship with the local population, and generally has been acknowledged that soldiers and civilians have been unaware of cultural sensitivities. Based on numerous reports, deficiency of cultural understanding about the host society by peacekeepers has occurred quite often. While there is no peace without proper governance, state government plays an important role in ensuring the successfulness and effectiveness of peacekeeping force deployed overseas. I would like to define a few terms. Culture in general can be defined as the way of life of a particular group of people, especially their general customs and beliefs. This includes the codes of manners, dress, language, religion, rituals, and arts. Tolerance can be defined as the ability of an individual to accept differences in opinion. Therefore, the culture of tolerance in a nutshell is referred to the tolerant attitude on difference in custom, religions, language, and other social systems. However, different societies have different levels of acceptance on this tolerant attitude. Culture is embedded and plays a significant role in any conflict. Therefore, when people of different cultures mix, as in the case of peacekeeping operation, culture tolerance plays an important role. The understanding of the local population culture is seen as an important point of concern, especially during the peacekeeping operation planning stage, because the peacekeeper need to find the exact cause of conflict, while at the same time they need to interact and maintain close relationship with local populations. Despite the fact peacekeeping plays an important role in stabilizing the world condition and restoring world peace, good governance to affect peacekeeping force in doing their job efficiently and effectively. In order to analyze good governance in peacekeeping, there are some sub-concepts that should be explained. First is participation. Participation by both men and women could be either direct or through legitimate intermediate institution or representative. Second is consensus-oriented. Good governance requires mediation of the different interests in society to reach a broad consensus on what is the best for the whole community. Third is accountability, which is a key requirement of good governance. Not only governmental institutions, but also the private sector and civil society organizations must be accountable to the public and to their institutional stakeholders. Next is transparency, which means that decisions taken and their enforcements are done in a manner that follows rules and regulations. It also means that information is freely available and directly accessible to those who will be affected by such decisions and their enforcement. Next is responsiveness. Good governance requires that institution and process try to serve all stakeholders within a reasonable time frame. Next is effectiveness and efficiency. Good governance means that process and institution produce results that meet the needs of society while making the best use of resources at their disposal. The seventh concept is equity and inclusiveness. A society's well-being depends on ensuring that all its members feel that they have a stake in it and do not feel excluded from the mainstream of the society. Last but not least is the rule of law. Good governance requires fair legal frameworks that are enforced impartially. It also requires full protection of human rights, particularly those of minorities. These qualitative study was carried out by using a semi-structured interview. As for the research sampling, we have choose purposive sampling because it focuses on the specific characteristic and fits the focus of the study. We have interviewed 25 Malaysian Armed Forces officers and personnel who had been assigned to different countries during the deployment to the UN peacekeeping operation. The data then was analyzed by using Atlas TI software. According to the data analyzed, there are three main reasons why culture tolerance among peacekeepers is important. First of all, it helps peacekeepers to avoid greater conflict with the local citizens. Second is to find fair solutions. And lastly, to gain local citizens' cooperation. Based on the analysis, the reason why understanding and tolerating local culture should be emphasized is to avoid a larger conflict from occurring or spreading. Culture has a strong impact on the peacekeeping force, whether positively or negatively. Peacekeeping operations cover various cultural dimensions, especially when the operation is multinational and aims to introduce outsiders to the local populations. The lack of cultural understanding and tolerance can interfere with the operation's effectiveness as well as contribute to the failure of the operations. When working in different countries, peacekeepers need to know the local ways so that it will make things easier for both the peacekeeper and local citizen. For example, in Somalia, humanitarian assistance was also bordered when some peacekeepers failed to understand the taboos and sensitivity of the local communities. Is to find a win-win solution. Culture tolerance is essential to find ways to reduce conflict between the parties involved. By understanding and tolerating the culture of the locals, the peacekeeper will be able to identify the needs and interests of the parties involved, as well as formulating the best solutions for all parties. However, each culture has their own way of developing their formal and informal ways to deal with any conflict that have occurred. If the parties involved in a conflict come from different ethnic, religious, and social backgrounds, then culture should be considered as part of the main conflict resolution. In order to find the solution to the conflict and fulfill their tasks, peacekeepers need relevant and significant information on local dynamics, especially in dealing with immediate threats when violence can be avoided by effective early warning systems. Blue helmets may only estimate the variety of threats that people face, their exposure to those threats, and any self-protection measure they may have in place by communicating with the local public, including individuals in remote areas. Next is to gain local citizen cooperation. In order to fulfill the mandate given, this is the basis for all peacekeepers. Without close cooperation with local residents, it is difficult for peacekeeping force to obtain and disseminate information. A crucial factor deciding the success or failure of the mission is the essence of the relationship such as peacekeeping force achieve with the population within its area of influence. In brief, a partnership based on agreement, communication, and trust with local civilians is important for a successful operation. For instance, the cooperation from African women is easy to get when female officials and peacekeepers approach them. The relationship between the peacekeepers and the locals differed from contingent to contingent and was primarily connected to the understanding of the local cultural background of the peacekeepers. According to United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, governance means the process of decision-making and the process by which decisions are implemented or not. A rule of law authoritative is obvious in numerous UN resolutions and reports and in the mandates of nearly every UN peacekeeping operation on the ground today. Transparency International has highlighted that failing to take account of the threat from corruption during peacekeeping operations puts the long-term success of international involvement at risk. Corruption has become a mission-critical issue in many recent operations, yet it is often ignored in planning and execution. Peacekeeping operations are working to maintain peace and security. Moreover, today's multidimensional peacekeeping operations are working to facilitate political process, including democratic transition, protect civilians, assist the disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration of former combatants, support the organization of elections, protect and promote human rights, and assist in resolving rule of law. Malaysian government fully support the effort of the UN and the international community to preserve universal peace and security. Malaysia has adopted a proactive approach in addressing global issues in line with its foreign policy. In conclusion, cultural tolerance is important in any peacekeeping operations conducted. This is because peacekeeping operations involve cooperation of various parties, including the cooperation of the local community. If there is no understanding or tolerance for other culture from both sides, peacekeeping operations could not be carried out smoothly and effectively. Tolerance and openness help peacekeepers and local communities to build closer relations. In addition, the peacekeeping force should also maximize pre-deployment training before being assigned to conflicting countries. Good governance also play an important role in shaping peacekeeping operations' successfulness and effectiveness. Good relationship between peacekeeper and local government give positive impact in getting cooperation and good response from local people. Peacekeeping operations contributing countries' government should ensure their troops to diligently follow the rules and regulations of the mission to ensure the effectiveness of their mission. That's all from me today. Thank you for listening and stay safe.